Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nickel City Mafia post-game report, the final post-game report for the 2021 season. Please be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us. We greatly appreciate your support. I'm Mike Thornton, and man, we're still not even 24 hours past. We're still within 24 hours of that game, and it still hits hard for me. And I know it hits hard for my co-host over here, Jake Podger. Jake, how you doing, man?
I've been better, Mike. Definitely been better. I feel like I was explaining to you earlier, I feel like I'm going to a funeral right now. You know, it's like post-game show a little too soon. I fully expected to be doing it after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Everyone says, it's just a game, but it's so much more than a game to us here in Buffalo. It's our livelihoods. It's our life.
Yeah.
I mean, and anyone that says it's, just a game or whatever, I think you're just in denial or you're not a true fan. It's one of the two. If this doesn't sting, I don't know.
Yeah, it stings. It's a phrase that I've used in the past because it was a way for me to kind of, I was like you, back when the Super Bowl years, Jake, God, I took it so hard. And it's been a long time. And with doing the show, those emotions have come back now. And it was really, really hard. And I got to say, though, I had, a great memory for me this game. I have my little 9-year-old, what every dad wants is either his daughter or his son sitting by his side watching that game. And he was with me from the start of that game. He didn't leave my side. He saw the emotional roller coaster that I was on. He'd come over. He'd put his arm around me. He's like, "We got this, Dad." I'll tell you awesome. What, he saw, he was like the adult sometimes. And, when we took the lead with 13 seconds to go, we were going crazy. I think they could hear us 3 streets down. I was expecting the police to show up and say, "We need to quiet down." We were going absolutely nuts. We were sitting there, both of us, on our knees, right at our couch. We're like praying for those 13 seconds. And then it didn't happen. When what happened, I shut off the TV. I said, "Jonah, Dad needs to take a walk." I had to go on a walk. It was dark out, but I was going to go on a long walk. And he's like, "Dad, I got you. I'm coming with you. There's no way I'm letting you go by yourself." So shout out to my boy, Jonah. Couldn't ask for anything better from
a dad. It's a great kid.
I'll tell you. So Jake, you texted me. I mean, I forget at what point you're like, "How are you holding up?" You said, I've had a few heart attacks already. And I got to tell you, just from the get-go, I was just nervous as all heck the whole game. Yeah. It was unbelievable. Talk to me about your night there in those last few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, nervousness, that's definitely good emotion, but I also had a really weird feeling like Josh has got this. I've never had that feeling before. I had it a little bit last year, but this year, with the roller coaster we had been through, how well we'd been playing the last 5 games, I just had a good feeling that Josh was going to pull this out. We won that game back and forth about 7 times. I mean, jeepers, how many points were scored in the last so many minutes? I think it was 25 total points between both teams.
It was crazy.
Last 2 minutes, right? I mean, Insane. It's not anything that I ever expected. And it's crazy. A lot of people have, pointed out there should be an extra, possession in overtime and, a whole bunch of rules and stuff. And I think a lot of this game came down to how we made adjustments in the second half, because at a certain point we were down by 9 points. We were down 23-14. And I think Josh finally just decided, you know what? F this game plan. I'm going out here and I'm taking advantage of this game myself. And he certainly did that. We got into an absolute slugfest with them, and we showed that we could play amongst the best teams in the NFL. I mean, this Chiefs team is a really good football team. This is not the same Chiefs team that we played in week 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different ball club. I mean, it's tremendous what we did. So I think a lot of people have to realize, truly how well we played offensively. Now, defensively, it's a little frustrating. You got to remember you have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce on the other side of the ball. But it is a little upsetting because we didn't really use the same approach that we used the first game we played against them. So I think a lot of people are frustrated with Leslie Frazier. I think a lot of people are calling for his head right now. And, a top the top defense in the NFL. We couldn't get that last stop with 13 seconds left. It goes right up there with the top heartbreak moments in Buffalo Bills history. But it's just crazy. It's crazy to me. We made that into a total track meet, which is it's wild. I mean, never in my life have I seen that type of Buffalo Bills offense. First off, never in my life have I felt so good with a quarterback at the helm. So there are some positives to extract from this. It's hard to process in the moment. You're just feeling so depressed and so down.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of mourning. And I think I'll probably have to take at least a week or two to really digest everything and come to terms with it. Because I'm still like just thinking about all the what ifs. And I know the game's over. And it's like, hey, no matter what, it's the Chiefs and the Bengals in the AFC Championships. It's not the Bills and the Bengals. And it is what it is. But you just think of so many different scenarios. Like, what if we would have been more aggressive in the beginning of the game? Maybe we weren't in this situation. Maybe we should have tried to go up by 9 points instead of be down by 9 points. You know what I mean? Like, just let Josh do his thing and just unleash the beast. And I feel like I don't know. It was just too little too late on that, And even so, we still should have won the game.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but
here
we are.
We can talk about all the stuff that went on between the start of the game and the end of the game. But for me, it really was that 13 seconds. And I'm not sure what they're going to coin the phrase as. We've got the wide right that is forever embedded in our heads for us folks that were watching those Super Bowl years. We got the Music City Miracle. Jake, you were probably just a little kid at that time, but
I was young. I was really young.
We had the Music City Miracle.
6 years old.
We had those 4 Super Bowl losses. No game will ever hurt as bad as those 4 Super Bowl losses. I will say that because you are literally, especially the wide right game, you are literally there. You're going for that Super Bowl championship. I mean, you got the Music City Miracle, which was a divisional round, just like this one was. And then you got the 13 seconds. And what are they going to call it? I don't know. The Baker's Dozen. They got to come up with some
I like that
catchphrase. Cool. We'll call it the Baker's Dozen for now or whatever. What are they going to call it? Just another notch in our belt for heartbreaking losses. Joining the channel, I want to recognize my dad's out there. He says, man, I'm glad I have a pacemaker these days.
Oh, Bill, man. I'm glad you got one too because, holy cow. You know what? Aaron Rodgers did say this. It was, early on in the season, he did an interview after a game. I think it was against the Niners, actually, when they won. And he said, isn't it romantic? Isn't this just such a romantic game? Like, you got to admit, you take a step back, just as a fan, just looking at the two teams. If you're not invested in either team and you're just watching this game from the outside, I mean, how incredible was that game? I mean, that's an absolute classic. Like, that's what it's all about right there, I mean, this is going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest playoff games of all time, maybe one of the greatest games of all time. I mean, it was a slugfest. You had 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and just made you feel so many things. And on both sides, both fan bases. I mean, I'm in the group text with the Kansas City guys and they're texting back and forth. It's just wild, Mike. And, like I said, heart palpitations. I felt things that I've never felt in my life. I mean, it was just insane. It brought me to my knees. I don't know what else could bring a grown man down to his knees like that, but wow, just unreal.
Yeah, the last 2.5 minutes, the emotional roller coaster. I've never experienced anything like that at all. Just back and forth for those 2.5 minutes. I had a lot of, this was my week to rotate back in the office, and when the loss happened, I turned my phone off for a bit. I just had to get away. I know I was going to get a lot of texts, but thankfully, I mean, I went into I had a lot of texts coming in last night. Are you okay? Was rooting for your Bills. I posted something on Facebook, got some great support there. Went into the office. People were coming up to me. Do we need to keep an eye on you? Are you okay?
Wow.
We were pulling for your Bills. What a great game. Maybe one of the greatest they've ever seen. And yes, it was. I mean, looking from the outside, it was spectacular, especially that last 2.5 minutes. Looks a lot better if you're a Chiefs fan. I got to say that much. Looks a lot better.
Absolutely.
So who else is out there?
Well, we got our guy, Brian Dable. Hey, Brian Dable. We're probably going to lose you to the Giants. We appreciate you, and I hope you don't take Isaiah Mckenzie with you. But if you do, Godspeed. Would love to get him back, but I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. He says he was 14 when wide right happened, so we got to calculate the age there to see if that matches up with Brian Daboll's age, because I think this is him in disguise.
I know, we've always said that. He's been out here before.
Thank you for joining again.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you. We got Nathan coming.
Oh, we got
there.
Nate.
Yeah,
that's my buddy Nate. So Mike, he's basically my other brother, and we call each other every single Bills game to console one another. He doesn't live in Buffalo at the moment; he lives in Ohio, so he's got to deal with a bunch of Browns fans and a couple Steelers fans, which is kind of weird being in Ohio. But yeah, he had to watch the game yesterday, and he felt the same thing that I felt. He actually sent me a video afterwards. He wears an Andre Reed jersey for every game. And he sent me a video, and it's got really sad music. And he's taking his Andre Reed jersey and putting it in the closet and says, "Until next season." And it's just the saddest thing in the world, Just, oh, man, just kills me.
We got my dad out there.
And then we got Timmy out there. Yep, absolutely, Timmy. And that's one thing to really, try to remember is that, we have an elite quarterback. And, a lot of people are thinking, oh, we're wasting his talent. I think he's still going to be a two-dimensional quarterback for years to come here. Obviously you can't do it forever, but we still have a window with him. And it took Peyton Manning how many tries to get a ring, So I think that's the best comparison you can have here. It's like you have these elite quarterbacks. It takes them a while. They don't always get it right off the bat. I mean, Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady, they're unique. They're unique in that aspect because they got their rings a little early on in their career, but some guys, they have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. My dad's saying, he's talking about how he's really disappointed in back in 1967, the AFL Championship, when the Bills took on Kansas City at the Rock Pile in Buffalo and lost that game. And Kansas City went on to lose to Green Bay. And, that leads into, I had a story. So when I went to the office today, I had prepared, we use Slack at the office, communication between our team, and everyone was Slacking me last night. We have a group channel. And I was quiet. And I wrote something up and I put it in the channel, and they appreciate it. It was my story, my journey with the Bills, and it's in the description. So check it out. I'd love for you to read it. Check it out after the show, of course. And then in the comments, share your story as well. I talk about, of course, I was only 9 months old when that 1967 game happened, but I talk about 1989 when my friends called me on a Friday night. They said, "You want to go? We got tickets to the Cleveland game." It was the playoff game, the divisional round between the Bills and the Browns. We got in a van, 4 of us. We went down to Cleveland, 3.5 hour drive. I forget. We slept in a parking lot in this cold van. The game was cold. It was below 32 during the game. We were in the end zone. We were in the end zone where Jim Kelly was trying to drive and win that game. I think we lost 34-30, but we had a play. We were at about the 15-yard line. Kelly throws it perfectly for Ronny Harmon. Perfectly. Ronny Harmon drops the ball. The next play, Kelly throws it over the middle, trying to hit Thurman Thomas, intercepted by none other than Clay Matthews Sr.
Oh, my gosh.
I was at that game. Heartbreaker. Again, 4 guys. We get in his van. None of us, at that point in time, were making a lot of money. So we were just living in that van. It seemed like a long day, or we were freezing, but it was a great experience. And I would do it all over again. And I talk about that. So check out my story and share yours. Share all your crazy adventures and some of the stories that you guys have. Put it in the comments afterwards.
Mike, and I'll tell you what, so you sent those to me, and I think I read every single one of those. I loved it. I mean, all of that epitomizes what a true fan is. And it's even more special because it deals with the Bills, and, we're the heartbreak city. We're a sports town with a drinking problem, or maybe reverse that. I don't know, a drinking town with a sports problem, whatever you want to call it. But, we have these moments in history, and sometimes we're kind of like a laughing stock, but I think people generally do want to root for us because I don't know. I don't think I've ever met someone that doesn't like the Bills.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone that dislikes the Bills? I feel like there's just none of that around. I've never met someone
the only one I met, and it's just a couple Patriot fans, and I work with one of them. Okay. So actually, it was Chris who was on our show. He's like, as long as the Bills or the Chiefs don't go to the Super Bowl, I'm happy. He has props for the Bills too, so it's not like he totally dislikes them. But you're right. There's so many Bills fans all over the world, man. It really is. I see on social media there's this Bills backers in Italy, and the guy goes live and does a show. Awesome. It's amazing. We got Bills backers in Cleveland, Bills backers out here in California. It's amazing. So, yeah.
Tremendous. Yeah.
No better.
And it's funny.
Fan base.
Absolutely. 1,000%. And you reminded me of something. I was listening to WGR 550 today. And of course, you have all the people calling in and complaining and stuff. But you had a guy that called in, and he actually asked Steve Tasker this question. It was really interesting. And he said, do you think this team resembles a similar team to the 1989 Bills that went and played in that 1990 game against the Browns, where Ronny Harmon dropped that pass? And of course, you sent that text, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, holy cow. Like, so, and Steve said, you know what? I do see, signs that are similar. Every team is different, but right after that, they had that big Super Bowl run. So maybe I think we are that close. I mean, we were a play away. I mean, we're a possession away from winning the game yesterday, so it's very, it's kind of eerie how things match up like that. So maybe we're on pace now to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. I don't know.
I hope so. But you and I talked before the show, man, that AFC is good.
It's tough.
It's getting better by the year. I mean, you got teams like the Chargers. You're always going to have these Chiefs. You got the Patriots on the rise. The Raiders look pretty good. The Bengals on the rise. You're going to have Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they get healthy. So it's going to be harder and harder. That Super Bowl window, you only have it for so long. But I think, and we'll show at the end of the show, we're going to go over some of the free agents and talk about whether we see them here next year or not. And, when we wrap up the show, we'll talk about some needs we might go after during the free agency market and maybe the draft. But just so everyone knows, we will be back. The Nickel City Mafia, we're gonna have free agent shows, talk about free agency. It opens up, I think, in March, and then the draft is in April, late April. So we're gonna have a bunch of shows about that, covering with all that coverage. So you won't be missing us for long. We'll be back. Meanwhile, the Nickel City Mafia does other content as well. Actually, we have the Farmers Golf Show tonight. We're going back to back with shows at 8:30 on the West Coast and late on the East Coast. But if you're into DraftKings and golf, we're going to be there. And we got fantasy football. We're going to be doing some Sabre content. Now's the time. We're going to do a weekly Sabre content. Jake, my dad will be there. Love to have you if you want to get into the Sabres stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Just a quick weekly recap about the Sabres and things that are going on. So there's lots going on with the Nickel City Mafia.
I love it.
Brian says he remembers that Cleveland game. Did he say he was 14 when he was at the game? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think he said. That was the wide right game.
Wide right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
there's my dad chiming in saying he's probably going to the Giants. Brian Dable probably going to the Giants. He did have his second interview today, I believe. So probably going to lose him.
All right. Well, let's get into, to me, everything else that happened during the game. You could talk about it. Did we not put the foot on the gas? Did we wait too long to do that? Did we not take advantage of Tyrann Mathieu being out? All that aside, it really came down to the final 13 seconds, right? That 13-second drive. And before we get into the images, first thing that came up, people were like, oh my God, why didn't they squib kick? I didn't mind that they didn't squib kick. I mean, a squib kick is a little dangerous. They could have had a shorter field to go. I could kick those out of bounds sometimes. And really, all a player has to do is get it and down it. And he's, what are we going to burn? 1 more second? Maybe.
Right.
Maybe 2. What are your thoughts on that, whether they should have gone with the squib kick or not?
So I understand it. With the squib kick, you always do run the risk of it kind of being a wild ball, potentially going out of bounds. 40-yard line. I mean, that's terrible. And then, I mean, the Chiefs, we know how fast they are, regardless. I mean, they have a lot. I mean, it's not just Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. It goes even deeper than that. I mean, they have weapons on that team. So I understand, not wanting them to, for a fact, if you kick it and it's a touchback, for a fact they get it at the 25-yard line. So for a fact that that's where they're going to start.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the 40-yard line on a potential out-of-bounds kick or something weird, or they're going to take it up. I think field position had a lot to do with it. that is my only thought process with it, is that they just wanted to make sure that they knew exactly where they'd be getting the ball, and they didn't want to take a risk of, allowing a potential big play, or, I don't know if it was so much about taking time off the clock. I don't think it was anything like that. I think it was more about field position than anything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I had a few people text me like, why didn't they squib kick? And I'm like, really? I don't think a squib kick would have been any better.
Yeah.
But so good take on that. Brian, he's got his son who says, his son Jack was like, I can live with this loss, but it takes so long to get back there. Another whole season. He's 7 years old.
7.
Brian, you got to reach out to me because I talked about this a few shows back. Nickel City Mafia is probably going to bring a show about kids talking football. My 9-year-old, and I'm looking for that other person that can get on with my son Jonah and talk about 3 games. Kids say the funniest things when they're talking. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. We'll figure that out. But yeah, Ryan, if your son's really talking football at that age, please hit me up, man. Talk to me. So let's get into this a little bit of, we got some images. We're not going to run any film today. The figuring out the copyright rules with film is always difficult. Don't want to get tagged with any of those. So let's start right here. So I'll wait a little bit. Jake, I know it takes about a few seconds to show up on the screen, but this is an image you sent to me. This is first down, 13 seconds ago. They just got the kickoff. Talk to me about what you're seeing on the defense there, and do you like what you see?
I absolutely hate what I see here, Mike. So first off, this is your classic prevent defense, as they call it. And you have these guys, so you see these 2 corners, Levi Wallace and I believe Dane Jackson on the other side. They're protecting the boundaries. I mean, I don't understand. First off, the Chiefs still have 3 timeouts.
3 timeouts.
So I don't know what the heck they're doing to begin with. The biggest issue I have here is they're in a bunch formation here. You have 3 guys here. Travis Kelce's in the middle. No one touches Travis Kelce. I mean, they let this guy run free. He runs a seam route up the middle, catches a pass, and goes for 20-something yards. I mean, it's totally uncalled for.
So that's not this play, Jake.
Oh, okay. This is the next play.
This is the Tyreek Hill dump off. So they're at the 25. They dump it to Tyreek at about the 30. When that ball snapped, all those guys at the 35-yard line, they all start dropping back. They drop the ball off to Tyreek Hill right about the 30-yard line. He's got 2 blockers in front of him, and that dude turns on the jets. And I thought he was going to split the seam and go again. I really did. He goes for 19 yards. So that's that defense.
Okay, so then the following play is
the follow one I'm going to bring up. So they were about the 44-yard line when, and we'll show that in a little bit. But yeah, you can see right off the bat. I didn't have. I guess I did. I mean, let's talk about it. Your dad's saying we should only be rushing 3 guys. Yes. Why? All we need to do. I even heard somebody say, "Why rush anybody? Put all the defenders back there. Make them burn all the time, trying to find somebody open." Right. All you're trying to do is burn time here. Why are you rushing 4? Why not rush 3? Why not rush 2? Get more people out there to defend. Your thoughts on that?
It's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, this is basically, you're just letting them get you're basically just saying, hey, you want 3 points? Go ahead, take it. I mean, I don't understand this at all. I actually would be curious to see who's actually responsible for this. Like, is it Leslie Frazier? Is it all on him? Is it Sean McDermott? Who's taking responsibility for this? Because I don't agree with it. I mean, obviously there's a reason why I'm not coaching in the NFL, but I think given the situation here, this is situational football. Like, what the heck? What is going on here? I mean, 3 timeouts. You're protecting the boundaries. You're playing. I mean, no one. I mean, your closest guy is 7 yards off the ball, and he's not even close to these receivers over here. It's crazy to me. I mean, some of these guys, these 2 safeties in the back, they're out of the picture. I mean, it's like, what the heck is going on here? And
Tyreek Hill, as fast as he is, and we saw that on the drive before this when he took it to the house, and we won't even talk about that one. But we'll let them have their one mistake, just like they had their one mistake on a big bomb to Gabe. But I mean, just look at what they're giving up right there, and it was an easy 19 yards. You're
basically just saying, here, you want 10 yards, go ahead and take it.
Now,
they got 19.
Now, Tony, who's on our show, he's a part of the Nickel City Mafia. He played defensive lineman for Boise State. And he came to me, checked up on me today, and he goes, man, they both sent me a text saying congratulations at that 13-second mark.
Oh,
and then later on they regretted it. But he said, when he played football in college, they were always taught on the defense to protect the sidelines and don't let anybody get beyond you. Keep it in front of you. I said to him, why are you protecting the sidelines when they have timeouts? It doesn't matter. I get protect the sidelines
that's the difference.
If you don't have timeouts. I get that. But that's kind of what he went back and forth with me. And, he's more of an X and O guy. He played for Boise State, a very good college football team.
Yeah.
And he said that's kind of what they teach you. And I said, well, in this instance, I feel they should. And didn't they? Okay, it wasn't this one. In the next play we're going to go to, they actually see the formation. I believe they take a timeout and they come back with the same
thing,
same scheme. So let's roll into that. So this play gets them 19 yards. So I think if they're at the 25, they're at the 44-yard line. Let me jump over to that clip real quick. All right. Yeah. So we're at the 44-yard line after the first play. I'll let it come up on your screen there in a second. All right.
So here it is.
This
is really bad because you have a defensive end right here in position to even just give a little chip on Travis Kelce, and there's nothing. I mean, they don't even engage him or anything like that. I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't either. So this was the same defensive scheme they were running. They called a timeout. They come back with the same thing. So did KC. They come back with the same lineup there as well. Same scheme. Now, 97 up top, Addison, he actually does not stay off the line. He actually runs up before the play is snapped. I don't have an image of that, but he is up on the front line. You're absolutely right here. I mean, first of all, you can already see this is going to be an easy play for Mahomes to Kelce, right?
Yep.
If you were to watch this, and I watched it on Game Pass over and over and over again, and now let me flip this over to the pass here. I know it takes a few seconds here, but when Mahomes sees Kelce and they see what the Bills are giving him, he never looks anywhere else but to Kelce. Look at that. I can drive a truck through there. Look at where Milano is. There's nobody close to Kelce. How can you let this happen?
I think Milano got apps. I mean, he was caught sleeping.
The sinuses are bothering me, so I know. Was it Tim giving me a hard time about what tissue?
No, that was Zach. Yeah, he was asking about if you're a big Kleenex guy or.
Maybe some tears, but I got the sinuses bothering me today. So yes, whatever. This is paper towel stuff right here. All right, but look at this. Look at this, Jake. I mean, are you kidding me? Let me go back to the previous one real quick. Let's look at that initial setup right there.
This is like PTSD here.
Why don't we have Milano? I guess, so the running backs in the backfield, they got to watch for him, right? Somebody's got to be assigned to him. So I'd guess that was what Milano was doing, I imagine. But why don't we have somebody, like you said, we already have a big guy over there, maybe not even have three. Have somebody right over Kelce.
Right.
Just nail him.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with it. I mean, we actually, you have, is this Mario Addison over here?
Yes.
That's okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
Well, no, up at the top, I think it's 97. I think Madison's up near the top.
Okay.
Over here, I'm not sure who that was. Over there, close to Kelce. But whoever it is certainly big enough to chip him or at least knock him down.
I have such a problem with this. You're not even. Just put a hand on him. Do something. You know what I mean? You're right there. It just doesn't make any sense. No idea.
Yeah,
really don't know.
I just don't get it. And you already, look at that. Mahomes is looking at him right now. He's looking over there. He's like, are they seriously giving me this? All right, great. Snap. Now let me tell you something. If you watch this video after he throws it to Kelce, right? If there was a chip, if there was any delay that Kelce had in the pattern, if Mahomes had to wait any longer, Jerry Hughes actually gets to him. He's about to hit him when Mahomes throws the ball. So but that's what happened there. So, but look at that. Look at that. There's no. It's an easy. So Kelce turns to the inside. It's Mahomes is starting to throw it right now. It's easy. Yep. He goes for 25 yards. They're now down to the 35-yard line, 45. No, it was even close at 31-yard line. So because it was a 48, 49-yard field goal. Now, they come in and that guy nails it. I think that field goal might have been good from 60 yards. I really did. That guy nailed it. So again, Tony talking to me, he's like, dude, I mean, and I give them credit. I do give them credit. They had to come out and hit 3 perfect plays. Not only did they have to get in the field goal range, that 48, 49-yarder was not easy. He had already missed the 50-yarder, and he had missed an extra point. So they had to hit these, and unfortunately, they did.
You know what hurts, though? It's like you'd almost feel better if we were aggressive and we just lost, like straight up lost on this possession. If they scored a touchdown, you would almost feel better if we played just a normal defense like we were all game and just lost like they just beat us. I mean, Tyreek Hill beat Levi Wallace, or even so. I mean, if you jam Tyreek at the line or something, you have some safety help in the back. I understand he's a deep threat, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just very perplexed with this entire series. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just really, really frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like you said, I mean, you've heard the saying, prevent you from winning games.
It does. Yeah. I mean, we're playing not to lose. We're playing not to lose, and we're playing for a tie at this point.
At this point, you should be playing to prevent them from kicking a field goal and win the game. Because you know whoever wins the toss is most likely going to win the game, and that's exactly what happened. And there's a lot of people talking about whether the overtime rules should change. Maybe, but we know the rules of the game. We know what was at stake. Again, to me, play what you've been playing. You were kind of containing them. They weren't really going off for a lot of big plays. They were dinking and dunking all day, taking what you were giving them. And now, I think either Romo brought this up. I don't know who I heard this on. I think maybe even Tony Romo. What about, I mean, you grab one of these guys. All right, great. Get over Kelsey. Hit him hard. Once he starts taking off, just tackle him. Just tackle him. Take the penalty. Now it's a free play for the most part, but you're taking Kelsey out of the mix. Now he's going to have to go over to the right, and hopefully by this time someone's got to him. And you've taken off, I don't know, 5 seconds, So, I mean, there's that. It's kind of like a hack-a-shack, right? Remember what
that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there was those options. For both Frazier and McDermott to not have a better scheme for this just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Especially since they had timeouts, they took timeouts, they talked about it. How do you let one of the best tight ends, maybe the best tight end of all time, be left all alone? One-on-one. He's not even, I don't even say he's one-on-one. He's left alone. It's just like,
he's got no one.
Right. Levi's just saying, just don't come over by the sideline here. Yeah, we're good. Right. Oh God.
Oh my gosh. It's just mind blowing to me. And you hate to have this be like the defining moment of the season, but this was it. I mean, and our defense couldn't deliver. And I don't totally put all the blame on our defense. I mean, they're coached to play this the way that they're playing it. Yeah. So they're doing what they're told, and came back and just bit them.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, well, let's move on to some positive things here. Let's talk about the game balls. Who are you giving game balls out to, Jake?
Well, the obvious is you got to give it to Josh Allen, and I think Gabe Davis for sure. I mean, Gabe Davis put up Jerry Rice-like numbers. I mean, actually, Jerry Rice never even did that in the playoffs.
Right.
8 receptions, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, are you kidding me right now? And then Josh maybe the most impressive 2-game performance by any quarterback in playoff history. I mean, the guy threw, I think, 14 total incompletions throughout 2 games. That's just wow. Yeah. 9 touchdowns. I mean, he was on pace to set records for all playoff numbers amongst quarterbacks. I mean, he was near perfection this entire playoff series. And, you feel almost more bad for him than anyone, because it's like he got you the win multiple times. And we just couldn't stop them on defense. And it's, I'm not going to put everything on the defense. I think I put a little bit on coaching, a little bit maybe on, guys falling asleep out there. And, not everyone, our linebackers, I don't think they played a great game. I think Matt Milano probably played his worst game of the whole year. And Tremaine, I was not impressed with Tremaine either. It was very, very frustrating. We didn't even see any Saron Neil out there. The first game we attacked Travis Kelce with Saron Neil, and I thought he did a really nice job. We held both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce under 100 yards. And just yesterday, we saw why those two are so special. I mean, Tyreek Hill he gives the peace sign as he's scoring a touchdown. The guy's still ahead of him as he does the peace sign too, which is absolutely incredible. A lot of people are calling for a taunting penalty on that too. I'm glad they didn't call it because I just think it's a game-changing call, obviously, and I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No.
But then again, there's the other side of it where if you're going to have a taunting type of flag, you got to call it for everything that fits the definition, right? So, I mean, there's that crowd of people too, but yeah, it's just really frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss for words.
I hear you. So I'm kind of, my game balls, I'm giving one to the refs. We talked about that. Let's not have the refs interfere with this game, and they didn't. I mean, it was a pretty, there were a few calls, but nothing that was crazy and nothing that I felt impacted the game, which is all you can ask for. Josh Allen, offensive line. I mean, come on, these guys. It was an amusement park with these guys all year. It was like I was on a roller coaster. Yeah. We came back with a same freaking line that we had last year in the AFC Championship. Said we're gonna rule the roost here. We come out, we lose to the Steelers. Week 3, I think, is when Spencer Brown got the start. We're juggling the lineups. Deion Dawkins is out with COVID or affected by COVID. All this stuff going on. Constant adjustments. Finally, something during that Buccaneers halftime. At halftime, I don't know what was said or what they did. Maybe they tossed the sheets out, the play sheets out the door, and they said, let's just come up with them on the fly. I don't know, but something clicked. Yeah. And that offensive line has been so good, not only with the Patriots, who have a very good defense, which people now are just kind of saying they weren't, but I mean, they weren't giving respect to the Bills' offensive line. The Bills' offensive line, yeah, maybe we didn't run block, but you know what? We didn't need to run block. Our problem earlier in the season, not only were we not run blocking, we weren't pass blocking. We weren't giving Josh the time. And our team's built to throw the ball. And that offensive line was giving him lots of time. And so, game ball to them. Yeah, we gave up 2 sacks. So did they. But, one of them might have been a coverage sack, in my opinion. We did get a little lucky when Ingram sacked Josh. He actually fumbled the ball.
Yeah, that
bounced right back to him. Oh, my goodness. That would have been a game changer. Got a little lucky there. But, yeah, game ball for them. And, Gabe Davis, obviously. But I'm throwing one out to Cole. Whether we see Cole again or not, I don't know. I hope so. But I'll tell you what, I remember during that game multiple times saying, man, I love you, Beasley, because he was getting some key catches. He's got great hands. He was making some amazing catches. And so one to Cole Beasley for me.
I like that. I respect it. Yeah, if I could give a specific game ball to an offensive lineman, I would give it to my guy, Ryan Bates. I was watching a little bit of film on him today. I don't know if I actually sent it to you, Mike, but there was a really big reach block that he had on Chris Jones, and he manhandled him. I mean, it was so impressive. I really think that that's got to be an emphasis this year, in free agency. We got to bring him back because it was so much better with the offensive line when he was active and he was playing left guard for them. I really love what he brought to the table.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, let's get into the who's running laps today, Jake, for you.
Oh, man, I think it's our entire linebacker core. I mean, A.J. Klein didn't really play at all, but Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, I don't think they just didn't deliver. Our defensive line, I thought Eddie Oliver actually had a pretty good game, but we couldn't get home. I mean, how many times did Pat Mahomes evade sacks? And we could have had my bold prediction of 5 sacks. It could have been done.
You could have. Absolutely. But we also said he can escape just like Josh.
Oh, absolutely.
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were sorry. Yeah. I felt like the tackling was horrible. We missed so many missed tackles. And I was like, damn, if just one of you can grab Mahomes' leg. But there were missed tackles all over the place. But
right.
Sorry.
So yeah, I think I think the two more important positions on defense that we needed to deliver are front 7. Our linebackers and defensive line. I just don't think they did a great job, and ultimately it cost us the game a little bit. So just very frustrating. So I would say it's them for sure.
Yeah, after the loss last year, what did we say we had to focus on? Defense.
D-line.
D-line. Pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure. And you're right, man. We were getting pressure, but the guys who were getting pressure, not the fastest. Once Mahomes got around to the end, he was easily able to get away from them. And they all just missed, like shoestring tackles. So close, but yeah, so far.
Yep.
But yeah, and there were missed tackles in the secondary and the linebackers, like you said, Tremaine Edmonds. I had him as an impact player, and he let me down big time. I've always said, like, a middle linebacker needs to be that vocal leader. He needs to be tough, mean. God, there's
establish a presence.
Right.
I mean, he was invisible.
Yeah, I mean, think of us. Did he make any splash plays? No, not one that I can think of. Milano was the same way, not much there. But again, I put a lot on that middle linebacker. That's kind of the guy that just needs to set the tone.
That's your energy guy.
He's not a vocal guy, which not all guys are. But for me, I want a linebacker who's vocal. I will say this for AJ Klein. I saw him. They showed shots on the sideline. That guy was getting into it, just kind of trying to get his team up. You can see him if he caught any of that. That was awesome. And I want to see guys like that. I want to see vocal guys. Dude, they were Chris Jones and I think Ingram got into it early. After that,
I did see
after that first touchdown by the Bills. Chris
Yep.
Jones was chewing in the people. Even on that when they got the kickoff on the 13 seconds, they showed Chris Jones on the bench, and he was just, you could tell he was pissed. And no, you want guys like that. You want guys out there that are chewing their guys out, getting them. Brady does the same thing. You know, he's going to chew you out, but he's going to make you better. He's going to make you play better. And, you know, Josh was so fired up. I've never seen Josh so vocal. So vocal. So for me, I'm putting the defensive coordinator on the track, and I'm putting Sean McDermott on the track. I'm not going to bag too much on, yes, the defense was horrible to a certain degree, but like you said, they're being coached to play a certain way. And to me, I don't care what you did the whole game. That last drive, 13 seconds, is all we needed. 13 seconds. I mean, 9 out of 10 times, Jake, maybe even 9.5 out of 10 times, a team is not going to be able to get the ball with 13 seconds and get down the field and kick a field goal.
Right.
It's just our luck. I don't know what the heck it is.
What else is it? I don't know. Tim says he's running laps too. We ate way too much pizza. Timmy, I'm right there with you. I actually finished the leftovers today. So, we're back at it tomorrow. Diet starts tomorrow. Here we go again. See how it goes.
Tim, get out there on the track. Make sure McDermott and Frazier are running those laps. Please.
That's right.
We got the Russian bots back a little bit, so I don't know.
There they are. Welcome back.
Pagutu. I don't know what that means, but thank you for joining the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Get all your Russian friends.
Give us something here.
Get all your Russian friends to hit that subscribe button for us as well.
That's right.
All right. Do I have anyone else on? Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. No, I had nobody else running laps. It was mostly the defensive and the coach on this one. And it was mostly because of what they came up with in that last drive.
You know what? I have one more set of people that are going to be running laps.
All right.
The people that are just writing this game off and you know, the people that are so negative saying that, you know, this was our only chance to ever win a Super Bowl. The people that are just the negative Nancys of the group. I understand, like 100% that you're allowed to be upset. I am so upset because I know that this was the team. We had the team that was built to win the Super Bowl. This was it, man. But to say that we're not gonna be back again, and we're not gonna be, you know, a known presence in the AFC for years to come, like, come on. I mean, you ride and die with this team. It is what it is. It sucks. You're allowed to feel emotional. You're allowed to take a month off for all I care. I totally get it. Shoot, I wanted to be in a coma for the next 8 months, you know, until football season started again, you know, and then you just vent a little bit. You got to get the frustrations out. And I'm still disappointed. I'm not over it yet. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's not just a game. As I said, Mike, it's not just a game.
Yeah.
This is huge. You know, we put too much damn time and effort and energy into this team to feel that way.
Oh.
But for people to just bash the team, you know, out of whatever, maybe it's anger,
Yeah.
you're really showing your bandwagon side, and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, and there's no place for it in our fan base. Not at all.
I totally 100% agree. And that, like I said, when I talked about what I put in the description there, through all those heartbreaking losses, through all the pain that we've gone through as Bills fans, I said in my final line there, in 2022 and in the future, I will continue to support this team. They are my team. This is what true fans do. And when we finally win one, it's going to be so amazing. Whether it's, I want a Super Bowl, I want a Stanley Cup, whatever one first. But we're going to get both of them at some point in time. And when it does happen, it's going to be great because we didn't have to jump off a bandwagon. A lot of these fans, I even know some folks, some of my friends in Buffalo that moved and became a Patriot fan. One guy moved to Boston. I'm like, dude, how could you do that? You were born and raised in Buffalo. I got tired of us losing. I can't even get that concept. Come on, stick with your team. It's too easy. Like, oh yeah, my team's I'm tired of losing. I'm going to be a Patriots fan. You're just not. I don't know. You're born and raised, and you're born and raised to support your home team forever, no matter where you are. I'm in SoCal, but I will always be True Blue. Always.
Right.
And there's so many other people around the country that I see on our channel that have come on, and I see it on social media all the time. They're all over the place. So
yeah. And the thing is too, if you're lucky enough, if you're fortunate enough to be one of those cities, and it's not even 32 cities, because you got to remember, LA has 2 teams. New Jersey has 2 teams. New York has 1 team, and that's us. If you're fortunate enough to be one of those cities to have a pro team, why aren't you rooting for them? Like, don't you want that for your city? I don't know. I never understood that. It's just crazy to me. So I think if you're fortunate enough to be, in a position, or you're located in a spot or you're born in an area that has a pro team, I think you got to root for them. Like, highs and lows, ride it. And you're allowed to be upset with them. You're allowed to, make remarks and stuff, but don't stray away. I mean, don't go to the dark side. That's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, totally agree. So now I'm gonna bring up a slide that's gonna show our free agents this year. And I don't want to. I think there was 16. I said with you. Let's just go down the list real quick, and both of us say whether we think they'll be here next year, or whether they'll not be here, or if you want them to be there. Like, there's a difference between you don't think they'll be here, but you want them to be here. So let's go through that list real quick. Bringing that up. There we go. Let's start right at the top. Jerry Hughes. He's 33 years old. He's 2021. He's making $10,750,000. He's unrestricted free agent. Is Jerry going to be here next year?
You know what? I know the coaching staff really loves him, and I think he's more of a locker room guy at this point. Obviously, statistically, I think he only had 1.5 sacks this year. The production's just not there. And me personally, I think unless he comes back on a veteran minimum contract or, obviously a lower contract, I don't see the reason to re-sign him. I don't. And I like Jerry Hughes a lot. I've really backed him throughout his whole career as a Bill, but I don't think it's worth the money right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that leadership, there's something to be said about the leadership quality that he brings that we're going to lose. I do not think he'll be back. That's just
he's been fantastic. He's had a really nice career as a Bill, but you can't be paying a guy like that $10.7 million.
Not for 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean,
we've talked about him many times how he just doesn't keep containment. We've seen that, but yes, love Jerry Hughes. Been with us 10 years now, and I just don't think he'll be back. Mario Addison, next guy, also so 30, Mario Addison,
it's crazy to me. He led the team in sacks with 7, and really kind of a roller coaster ride with him as a Bill.
Yeah,
at times he showed a lot of spark, and I think he's played well at times, and he's done a good job of keeping contained, and he's made some big plays, a couple tackles for loss here and there. But then other plays you see where he gets just totally beat. He doesn't necessarily always wrap up and always get the big sack or anything like that. So I think, unfortunately, that's another guy that might be walking as well. I think we got to get younger there. We got to, we have some good new upcoming defensive ends. Maybe we sign a guy in free agency even. But I think you got to let both of them walk. I think they're both, in that age range right now too. And I hate doing that because I would be like, what's his name? Bruce Allen with the Washington, whatever they're going to be called now. But back in the day when they were the Washington Redskins, he didn't have a player on that team that was under the age of 30. And I love that. I love the veteran team that's built up like that. I'm all about it. But I just feel like right now with where we're at, we have some really good young defensive ends, including Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, one of the fastest guys off the ball I've ever seen. If he could just get home, I mean, we could be really dominant there. So I think you got to let those two walk.
Yeah, the only way I see, I mean, it would be great to have one of them, but they'd have to take a big pay cut to stay with us. They have to be willing to do that. And I don't know. Right. I don't know what the market's going to bring from them. I don't know. I think Addison showed enough this year that somebody's going to pay him some money. I'm not sure about Jerry. So who knows? That would be the only way I see one of these guys if they took a massive pay cut to stay with us. We got Vernon Butler next. What do you think?
Yeah, that's another guy. And it's crazy because he was a first-round pick. This is back in 2016 maybe. And he really just hasn't he's had a couple moments where he's shown that he can play. But, with the emergence of Harrison Phillips and, Ed Oliver and, the rotation that we have going on there, I just feel like, unless he comes back for a minimal contract, that's another case right there. I just don't think that, it's worth keeping him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play much this year, right? Wasn't he inactive a lot of times?
Yeah, he was. He was inactive a lot. He played more last year. That's definitely true. I think this year, I'm going to look it up real quick. I want to actually see how many games he played in.
Okay.
But it is interesting. I mean, he's only 27 years old.
Yep.
He's technically right now, he's in his this is his sixth season. Yeah, I mean, he played in 10 total games. He started one. He had 11 tackles. 2 years ago with Carolina, he had 6 sacks. So it's like when we got him, I think we were pretty high on him.
Yeah.
And, we felt like he could be a contributor, and it just really hasn't happened. He really hasn't stayed healthy either, though. So there is that factor. But, I just don't think that it's – I mean, you're looking at the salary right there, and it's just –
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of cap room right there. And the Vernon Butler and those two other guys.
For a rotational guy.
You're like $28 million right there.
Right.
So I agree with you. I don't think Vernon's back. Manuel Sanders, I'll go first. I do not think he's going to come back. 34 years old, almost 35. He was great at the beginning of the season. We didn't use him a lot down the stretch. He was injured with the emergence of Gabe Davis, who I believe should have been present the whole year, but whatever. Yeah. I don't see Manuel coming back.
Yeah, I think everyone expected this almost changing of the guard, especially when Emmanuel went down. And yeah, I mean, Gabe definitely solidified his spot as the number 2 on the team. And actually, I would even go to say 1A, 1B. Stephon Diggs 1A, Gabe Davis 1B. I mean, that's how good he looks. We knew he was going to be a big play threat. He showed yesterday how good he is and how good he could be. Emmanuel Sanders had a really nice beginning of the year, a really good stretch. But once he had that knee injury, he was not the same player. Obviously being 34 years old, he's probably gone too.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky. I mean, for me,
that's interesting.
Right. He didn't play a lot this year, but where he auditioned was in that preseason game against the Bears, and he lit them up. And I feel like for the money he got, he's a steal. I think somebody is going to want him and pay him some money. I would love to keep Mitch. I feel like he's a great backup for us, and I think he can produce if heaven forbid, Josh missed any time. But I don't think he'll be here because I think he's going to get enough interest from another team wanting to pay him good money. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with that. I think he could still start in the league, honestly. Yeah. A lot of people dogged him when he was in Chicago, but then you saw how Chicago was this year, and you think, how the hell did Mitch Trubisky win 12 games as a Chicago Bear? His record there was pretty impressive, honestly. He took him to the playoffs. I mean, granted, he had a nice defense and stuff like that, but it's, even the stats that he put up weren't that bad. So I do think that he still has the ability to play in this league, and he might draw interest elsewhere. So would love to have him back. I know Josh would love to have him back too.
Yeah.
I think they became pretty close, but I doubt that he returns.
Yeah, agree. Ike Bucker.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think with how well my guy Ryan Bates played, this is almost like an interesting situation where maybe you let him explore his options elsewhere, and if the timing's right, if the price is right, maybe you bring him back, because I don't think he's a bad player at all. He's still pretty young. He's not an old player or anything like that, so I think he could definitely play. But right now, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we let him walk.
All right. Here's a big one. Levi Wallace.
Yeah, so Levi, I think he really earned his keep this year. And my dad says otherwise. He said that he's our weakest link. But I'll tell you this. While he had some bad plays, I think he had a lot more good than bad, and he really did a great job filling in for Trey White. I felt like I was a little critical on him in the beginning of the year especially, but when he came in and filled in for Trey, he did a really good job. So I would love to have him back. I think that's a guy we can lock down and re-sign.
Agree. I think you need to bring him back. He was the guy who missed the let Tyreek Hill go to the house. He was watching him. It was over the middle. But again, he's played it extremely well. I thought people are always bagging on him. I get it. When you have Trey White on the other side of the field, you're going to get most of the targets thrown your way. I thought he's done a really good job this year. So I'd say bring him back for sure. Because we know, we're going to be talking about this to close things up. Things we're going to need to target. How do we get better to beat the Chiefs? Well, we need better cover men. And whether he's a starter or not, I want him back. Tywan Jones, I know you like this guy on special teams.
I love him. Special teams ace. Would love to bring him back if possible for the right amount of money. Definitely. Yeah, I'm on board with bringing him back.
Yeah, I agree there. F.A. Obata.
Yeah, this is interesting. He showed that he could play. And, he was a rotational guy with the Panthers. He was a rotational guy with us. I think when he got his time to shine, he did okay. Yeah. I would be okay with bringing him back. I think we got to stay, we got to have a couple veterans there. So I would be okay with actually.
Yeah, we're paying him $1.5 million.
Yeah, it's not that much. It's not a huge cap hit or anything like that. So I'm good with that.
Right. Now, Isaiah Mckenzie, big one here. Obviously, I'll start. I want him back. I mean, we're not paying him much. He deserves more money. I don't know how much he'll get. Well, all he's got to do is show that New England game, and he's already auditioned. I think he's gonna demand more money for sure. I want him back, obviously.
Yeah. It's interesting because he tweeted today, basically it almost sounded like a goodbye. So I'm a little nervous about that, to be honest, because maybe he will follow Brian Daboll wherever he goes if he does get a head coaching job with New York. But I would love to have him back. I think every time he touches the ball on offense, he's electric. He's great. So
yeah,
there's my Google Home going off. I don't know why it started going off.
He brings speed to our team, and I just like the guy, and I think he's still a great kick returner. Receiving, we saw he can be a really good receiver. Somebody's going to snatch him up. And again, everyone's talking about him following Daboll because apparently they have a very good relationship. Hope to bring him back. I don't think he'll be back. That's my take there. Harrison Phillips, obviously $835,000. The guy's been coming on this year. Got to bring him back, I say.
Sorry, my Google Home is going off right now, so I'm trying to get this thing turned off. 1 second.
No worries.
Smart technology, it's great, but all of a sudden this thing started turning on. It must have thought I said, "Hey Google, play something." So bear with me. I'm gonna go on mute for a second here.
All right, no worries. Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out here. Want to see more of you. And I was serious. If your 7-year-old boy wants to get on a live stream, we're gonna bring kids talking football this year. So hit me up and let me know. You can reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter. Hit me up. Just let me know. Are you back? Did you get that shut off or no?
Yep, we're good to go. Yeah, Brian, thank you so much for joining, man. Yeah. If you are actually Brian Daboll, good luck in New York.
Good luck, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. He's never confirmed or denied it.
I know.
So it makes me almost think,
I know. Brian, we're still suspicious.
Hey, we did go to the same high school. We both went to St. Francis High School here, so we are, a shared alum.
Let's see. So he was 14 back in 1990 when his wide right happened. Actually, 91. Super Bowl's in January. It was actually 91, and that puts him at 23, 43, 45 years old. What's Stable at? He's got to be around there,
46.
Right?
I don't know.
There he is. I neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my goodness! Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be crazy?
That'd be hysterical.
That's incredible.
Love having fun with you, Brian. Thank you, man. Hope to see you soon. He's 45. We got that 45. Right.
Well,
what Stable did you say?
He's
46.
Brian Dable's 46, according to Wikipedia. Now, Wikipedia can be edited by anyone. So
exactly. Well, no matter what, we want to see Brian back. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, buddy. All right, where did we leave off here? I was down to Breda. For me, he's gone. Absolutely gone.
Yeah.
No reason to pay $1 million to a guy that we had high hopes for, but obviously he was inactive most of the games.
Right.
And nope, gone.
Yep.
So I skipped over him because I went to Harrison Phillips. Harrison Phillips we already talked about.
I think we're excited about Harry, if anything. Yeah, I actually do. I am curious to see how much that contract turns out to be because he really did play well down the stretch. And, he's young. So,
yeah.
Do you lock him up for a big contract? Do you do like a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract? Probably not that long, but probably a 3-year contract, I would think.
Yeah. And then we got Saron Neil.
Yeah, that's my guy. I'm really disappointed with the lack of use with him and just different packages and whatnot because he did a tremendous job the first time when we played the Chiefs and we just didn't use him. He's a really good special teams player. He's another guy that kind of fits the bill like Tywan Jones, but when he comes in and plays on defense, I think he does make an impact. So I would love to have him back. I think for the price tag that he's at, definitely got to bring him back.
Yeah, I think he'll be back for sure. Did I say Justin Zimmer? If I didn't, I'm going to repeat Justin Zimmer. I don't think
I'm on board.
Are you?
You're not. Okay.
No. I'm not. I mean, he's the price is right.
Yeah.
But what did he do? What have you seen from him that makes you think he can do something? I don't know. What am I missing? Tell me.
So I think it was more so last year that's kind of carrying over here with that effect. This year he wasn't able to showcase a lot. He got hurt early on in the season and he missed the rest of the year. So kind of a devastating injury for him because, when he was in, I think he really was a good hustle player. And even if you remember in the AFC Championship last year when Tyreek Hill went the distance for a touchdown, or it was a Tyreek Hill touchdown. He chased him down almost. I mean, this is a defensive tackle chasing a guy like that down. I mean, he's right there with him pretty much the whole time. So he's an all-out hustle guy. I think we got to give him at least another year just to show his worth. Would love to have him back. I really would.
All right. Bates, I think we're both on board. He's going to be back. We got to get him back.
Yes.
Got to get him back. Tell me something. I've heard people refer to him as Rick. What is that? Is that a middle name?
I saw that too.
What is that? Sure. I don't know what the backstory is of that.
All right. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Well, I think he'll be back for sure. I know, Jake, you want him back too. Tyrell Dotson.
So I like Tyrell Dotson. I think he's actually a decent football player. He didn't get much of a chance to show himself this year. He came in the one game when AJ Klein was out on COVID. It was against New England. I think it was the Monday nighter. But I'd be okay with bringing him back. He could be some special teams depth, and he can play. He does have playing experience, and for the price, I think why not? He's still pretty young, so why not?
Yeah, I would say I agree. Definitely bring him back. So this is just the start of it, right? We have a lot of guys on contract who are on contract through this next season. And we'll have shows to talk about that, Jake. We're going to talk about whether we should make a move. Guys like Tremaine Edmonds, he's got one more year left on his contract. Do we get what we can for him right now? Do we bail? Do we make that move? There's other guys as well. So we'll talk about that in upcoming shows. for sure. Lots to talk about. Going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
We switch back to our studio here, back live in Ellicott,
I love the studio,
Ellicott Square, downtown Buffalo. Yes, where it's happening. So, Jake, I mean, first I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you to you. I want to thank you to your family. They've been great supporters, your friends. Love it. And thank you so much for being part of the channel. And thanks everyone out there. We're going to be back. Keep coming back to us. I promise you, we'll be bringing it next year, bigger, better. We're always looking to do new things to keep you entertained. And we're excited about it. We love talking about this stuff. So thank all of you. So lastly, Jake, let's just talk a little bit. Let's talk about with free agency coming up. What do you see us going after? What do you think we need to attack? Let's not talk about the draft. Let's save that for another show. But free agency, I think that's in March. What are you targeting in free agency?
You know what? It's interesting. So I've kind of gone back and forth with this on whether we go and sign a running back. You know, I was kind of on board with even trading for Saquon Barkley or doing something crazy like that. Potentially picking up a guy like that. But with how well your guy Motor played at the end of the season there, I mean, I think we definitely can add depth at the running back position. I don't know if Zach Moss is the guy to rotate with Devin Singletary. I think you can win with the committee back approach, but I don't know if that's the type of team that we're supposed to be. I mean, you saw when we were using Devin Singletary as the focal point and just strictly giving him all the carries, he did pretty damn well. He got into a rhythm. He ran hard. Yesterday, we really didn't do a whole lot of that, but previous games, you know, even the New England game, he did a really good job of handling it. I think he is a very serviceable back. I think he is a starting running back. But that's definitely a position where I wouldn't mind picking someone up. Yeah. Another position that comes to mind, defensive end. We were talking about that a little bit. I think corner's definitely another area where we can pick up some depth or pick up a potential starter there. And then we definitely got to look at linebacker too.
So, yeah, you hit
and
it.
Then in the draft, maybe you go O-line. Maybe you go young there, or maybe you sign a big-name player. The problem is with the offensive line, that's a high-money position right there, as is corner. So those are two positions where free agency can get a little dicey. So maybe you want to go to the draft with that and take a first-round pick with one of those positions.
Yeah, I mean, our offensive line, if we can keep it intact the way it is right now, I'd love it. We keep some of that depth. We draft. I don't know if I'd go after a free agent. What I want on the free agent is an impact player. Look, we spent a lot of time the last 2 years. We spent a lot of draft picks on defensive edge rushers. Epinesa, Boogie, Rousseau, and I think they're going to be fantastic. I really do. But our window is closing. We need an impact player. I need a Judon. I need a Landry. I need Melvin Ingram, who's a 10-year vet. I need somebody who's going to bring the juice and make some big plays. I need someone who can get to Mahomes, who can put pressure on him and get there. Not just put pressure on him, get there. And that's what I want to see. Or maybe somebody on the interior line. I don't know. I feel like Oliver is a stud. I feel like Starr did all right. Harrison Phillips is up and coming. I don't know. Maybe a player there. But I'm looking for either a linebacker or an edge guy. And of course,
do you think we let Starr walk? Do you think we let him go?
Ooh, I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. The depth there, I really like what he brought to the team when he was in, and I saw a lot of promise there. So I would love to keep him. Cover. We need corners, right? How do you beat the Chiefs? It's kind of like how we had to build to try to beat the Patriots every year. We always said we got to get better cornerbacks. Trey's going to come back. We don't know what he's going to be like. That's a big injury. It takes people a long time to get back to their previous form with an injury like that. But Trey's coming back. Hopefully we got Levi. But we need to get more. We got Taron Johnson, of course, one of the best nickel backs out there. But we need somebody else. We need some speed out there. We need more depth. So coverage, linebacker, edge rusher, impact players. Draft, focus on the O-line. Maybe a running back. I agree with you. I think we need a run back. I'm down for that all day.
So I have a pitch. I think, and I've heard this name floated out there too. So I think if it does happen where Isaiah McKenzie leaves, we could pick up a gadget guy that's going to be a free agent by the name of Cordero Patterson.
Ooh.
And that fills 2 positions. Wow. That's a running back and a receiver right there. So that would be a really nice pickup for us if we could somehow get him. And I know he wants to play for a winning team. You know, he's in his 30s. I think he's 32 years old. So, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's not just. I gotta actually see. I'm curious to see how old he is.
He's up there. He's definitely up there.
Yeah, he's 30 years old.
Yeah,
he's 30 years old. So yeah, he's getting up in age a little bit. I know he wants to play for a contender, but I think he'd be a great fit for us. And that's your gadget guy right there. He can play running back. He can play receiver. You could put him anywhere on the field. Put him at safety. He even said he'd play a little safety this year. So.
He's a big physical guy. I like that. Yeah. Right. And I think he's going to demand a pretty good dollar after his performance this year. So might be a little tough there, but I would love that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we go guard in the draft. I think we go with a guard or a corner. Would love to see that because I think we're in the right spot. I think we're picking 25th or 26th. It looked like based on where we finished, obviously. So.
Yep. I agree.
Still kills me. Still kills me. We should have been picking 32. Oh gosh.
Well, terrible. I think that kind of does it for us. Jake, last final thoughts.
Well, it was a great season. We finished a round earlier this year than we did last year. We got to the AFC Championship this year. We lose in the divisional round, but we lose to the same team 2 years in a row. So 3rd time's a charm, Mike. I think next year we're taking it home and we're beating the Chiefs and we're riding and sailing off into the sunset as champions.
I agree. And at the start, as you saw the slide when the show started, I want to thank the Buffalo Bills. I mean, yes, it's a heartbreaking loss, but thank you. You guys put on a show, took us on a roller coaster ride, up, down. It was fun. It was frustrating. In the end, you came together and you put together just one of the best games of all time. It's going to go down. It definitely turned out as the shootout at the KC Corral. That'll always be remembered as the shootout at the KC Corral. So thank you, Buffalo Bills, for doing that. I know we talk a lot of some negative things. We're frustrated. We love this team. We spend a lot of money on, jerseys, tickets. We want this team to win. We deserve this team to win. So thank you. Thank you, Buffalo.
Absolutely. I love it. Hey, who's Brian Gaines, by the way? Thank you for joining the channel.
Brian is a coworker of mine. So we had we had Free to join us. She was a Chiefs fan, but you know what? She said she came in. She felt very bad. She said she was actually pulling for the Bills as well. She was like going. Wow. She couldn't decide. She says, "I'm happy with either team. All I want is a good game." Brian, good to see him out there. He's
asking where your Bills jersey is.
Bills jerseys. It's kind of that sad video you got. It's retired in the closet to the left of me here until next year. And I got that Nike, that contract that everyone says I have. So I got to sport the
Nike logo. That's right.
But Brian, I have been bringing the Jim Kelly jersey. I even wore the jersey last Friday at the office.
I love it. That's awesome.
So anyhow, thanks everyone. Have a great time. Remember, we got a golf show tonight. If you want to stick around, I think it goes off in about a little over an hour. Otherwise, Jake and I will see you soon. We promise you that much. Take care, everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.